Hi guys, welcome back. In my today's video, I'll be talking about this platform called Hitch. Make sure that you have the latest version of this app and you can download it under my link underneath this video. So Hitch, it's a platform which connects riders and drivers for long distance rides. I know by a fact that it does exist in Austin, Texas. You can go from Austin, Texas to Corpus Christi, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. I'm an active driver on this platform for the last months. I'll tell you everything what I found out. And I also was asking clients questions if they like Hitch, what is their opinion about Hitch. Nearly all my clients I drove, they said that it's a great platform. They love it, it's better than buses because Hitch is an alternative to bus rides. They nearly never have issues getting a ride. All the drivers they met, mostly they were really nice drivers, really nice cars. As a driver, I have different opinion about Hitch. It's not bad. My opinion that this platform has a lot of room to grow. There are many things they would have to work on, but in general, it's a great additional platform for extra income. It cannot be your main platform. If you're interested, actually, I can show you how much I made in a month being extremely active on the platform. The problem with this platform, most of the payouts I saw, upfront ones, they're nonsense. But here's the trick to Hitch. The reality, you need to be ready to just get up and move. You literally need to be ready, driving for other platforms. As soon as you see the offer which makes sense to you, accept this offer. What I mean by this is that closer to the time, once the client is supposed to leave, Hitch will start to raise the price for the driver that somebody would accept that ride. So let's say Austin to Houston, they will start to advertise the day prior or night prior for drivers for the price of $100 or $120. But when it will be an hour prior to this trip and none of the drivers accepted the ride, Hitch will start to raise the price of this trip to, let's say, 120, 130, 140, 150, and they will continue to raise the price of the trip till one of the drivers will not accept it on the platform. I realistically don't accept anything under 150. I'm trying to accept only from 180 if that is Houston, Fort Worth, Dallas. There are other drivers, I'm sure, who are also sitting and waiting for the price to go up that we can accept it. So it's more like a market. They will advertise from really low price, which doesn't make sense. And then when it goes to okay price, there is competition in between the drivers. And of course, we don't know one another. We don't know, who sees what. It's just an app. But when you see the okay price, you need to accept it if you're ready to drive. If you're serious about driving on Hitch, you really need to know capabilities of your car. You really need to know what orders or from what minimum you're okay to drive on this platform, because otherwise you will lose money, not gain money. Another thing you also need to look at is that if that is one-way trip, if that is round-way trip, when you have an app, you'll understand what I'm talking about, but there are different variations how you can be providing transportation. So some trips, it can be one person who booked the whole car, but one person one way doesn't really mean that you'll have one person in your car, because they booked the whole car. One of my last trips, I had 3 adults and 2 kids. And what I saw in the app, it was literally one person. I had another situation where I also saw one person, but it was 2 or 3 people, and it's kind of common. You also can have shared rides, and by shared rides, it can be up to 3 people. People might not know one another, and most of the time, of course, they don't know one another. They can have different luggage. Either nobody will have a lot of luggage or all of them will have a lot of luggage and you somehow would have to fit it in your car. Or shared rides or round-way trips. It can be a couple of locations where you're picking up from different locations, different people. And it can be like different locations where you're dropping off people. Or it can be like one location where you're picking up people and 2 separate locations or 3 separate locations where you're dropping off people. I mean, like in my experience, I only had like picking up from one location, dropping off at different locations. Or I had like picking up from different locations and dropping off at different locations. So with that being said, with all those variations, you really need to understand, like, you know, what prices as a driver, if you're trying to maximize your income, works for you. So one way with one person, I would say I can accept like to Houston for 180. But because I had this sad experience where it was like 180 and it turned to be a couple of people in my car on the way there and couple of people on the way back dropping off and picking up at different locations, it was annoying. And that is a mistake I made accepting this trip for 180, because that type of a trip shouldn't cost you less than 220 at least. Better accept one trip per week if they send you okay trip, or don't accept any trips at all if those trips do not make any sense. After all my experiences, I can tell that like you need to love to drive. It's long distance rides. You need to have reliable car. You need to love to drive. You need to be ready to stop at different gas stations if the clients want it. Many times you'll be picking up people from different Starbucks locations. You'll be dropping off people at Starbucks locations in the other city. I think that is really cool feature that you can grab some coffee, you can use the restroom, you know, maybe you can grab some snacks to go. It is really different from other platforms, but it is there. Try it, see it for yourself. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I stand with Ukraine.